What's next for the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes? This was the topic of conversation on 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway, the Undertaker's podcast. Now that the big chase is over, now that Cody Rhodes has finished the story after 3 years of chasing after that title to win what his father never could, now what? Now he is the WWE champion. Now he is on top. Now he is the one being chased. What do you do next with this guy? And this isn't just something that the Undertaker's been talking about on his podcast. This is something I've been hearing from a lot of the fans and reading online as well. People are bored with Cody Rhodes already. People are already saying he's a flop as a champion. People are already wondering what's next, and is he going to turn heel already? Come on, guys. Give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time. AJ Styles, it's a come down. It's a come down after WrestleMania. They don't need to blow their wad and rush into the next big hot angle. But with that being said, there is a conversation to be had. What is next, or what should be next for the American Nightmare? Well, The Undertaker had his thoughts. Check out this clip.
There's so many people that make sense for him to work with too. I mean,
we talked about how stacked the roster is.
Yeah,
I mean,
the roster.
Throw a name out there and you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, And you got Seth.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be one of the first things I would think. You got Seth. You're going to have Gunther. Yeah, Gunther. Yeah, I mean he lost the Intercontinental belt, but that's the sign right there. It's time to move up a level.
Yep.
They had to get that off of him, so it puts him in a different situation. So, I mean,
you've got Randy Orton sitting over there.
Randy's still sitting there. There's a whole
and Roman's
list.
not going to sit on the bench either.
So where do you go with Cody Rhodes? And is he getting stale and boring already? I don't think he is. As I said earlier, I think with the AJ Styles match, we're coming off of arguably the biggest WrestleMania of all time, right? The greatest WrestleMania of all time, many are calling it. At least the greatest WrestleMania main event match of all time. And if you don't think that, at the very least, you can acknowledge that it was a giant overbooked spectacle, right? Overbooked Mania, which is what we all wanted out of the match, but we can't continue that high, right? The roller coaster can't just be up and down, up and down, up and down. You're going to puke and cry. You have to build up to shit, and to be able to have a worthy build up, you have to have a little bit of a lull, right? So you can see, you got to take people back down a little bit. When you're building the match format on a show, they always call it the popcorn match or the let me down match, as Bruce Pritchard likes to say. You gotta build that into the stories that you're telling, that little bit of a come down, right? So this match, and that's not to take anything away from AJ Styles, it's going to be a banger of a match. It's just not a banger of a storyline. It's not to sink your teeth in. And that's not to say that Cody Rhodes already overrated or already boring and sucks. Now look, man, give it time. I say there's plenty of... Cody's inevitably going to turn heel. That's a given. In fact, they said as much on the Undertaker's podcast as well. Check out this clip.
The crowd's going to turn on him eventually. You know what I mean? Like it's
inevitable.
It's inevitable, right? Like we're going to turn on him. We're going to, because Cody does feel like the good guy. He's Dusty's kid. He's the perfect guy. He's the underdog that overcame and won. And now it's like, well,
perfect heel.
The underdog story is over now. He's the only place he can go, in my opinion. He's going to be a babyface for a minute, but I see.
Yeah, you see the heel turn?
I see a heel turn eventually. Because it's got to happen, I think. I think it's got to happen if we want him to be a long reigning champion.
Yeah.
And when that time comes, Cody Rhodes is going to be a fantastic heel. We've seen this in AEW, him as a heel. Very similar to the character he is now, just more smug and prickish. But the suits and you can very easily, as Undertaker said, you can see how it can shift into that. But there's a hell of a babyface run to get through before that. Look, they got another run with Seth Rollins, if or when Seth gets better, right? Because there's unfinished business there. Gunther, obviously a huge fucking hurdle for Cody Rhodes. Brock Lesnar has not been ruled out. He's a possibility to come back at some point, given, whatever. Who knows? Maybe they're just waiting to see how this whole lawsuit thing develops, and if Brock's name kind of stays out of it from here on out, maybe they'll be able to sneak him back in. Of course, there's plenty of unfinished business there as well. There's a number direct. Randy Orton, Jesus fucking Christ. The story they could tell with Randy Orton turning heel on Cody Rhodes, going all the way back to Legacy in 2009. It was 2009, right? I was at the 2009 Royal Rumble in Detroit that Randy Orton won, where it came down to Orton, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, so all three members of Legacy versus, I think it was Triple H, wasn't it? Randy Orton, there's a huge built-in story when Randy can turn heel. So right there's three huge stories you could tell. Maybe Logan Paul gets a shot at it and a one-off, like a fucking over in Saudi Arabia or something. I don't know if there's a big story there, but a one-off title shot again for Logan Paul. There's plenty of options. I think you could tell a good 3, 4, 5, 6 month story with Randy Orton alone with Cody. And the key here is to pick Cody as the underdog. It's the same thing. Look, people are saying, he's better with the chase. He's better at the chase. Roman was an absent champion for the last couple years. Cody has said as much on an interview. I don't remember who or what. He's done a bajillion of them around WrestleMania time. But he talked about how after last year's WrestleMania, he was feeling a bit down, a little down in the dumps. And he talked to John Cena, and John Cena told him to go out there and just work like he is the champion. And you see Cody, he's staying after the show goes off the air. He's signing all the autographs. He's doing all the Make-A-Wish stuff. Cody is your face of the company, babyface. You don't want to just, and I think if you need that for your company, and there's nobody immediately that jumps out as another face of the company, babyface. To that extent, right? CM Punk's a hot babyface right now, but he's not that kind of babyface, like kissing kids, kissing babies in the crowd and whatnot. Kissing kids, not like that, you pervert. Kissing babies, the old thing. Fuck it, doesn't matter. Shut up. So, but Cody's that guy, right? He's the baby face. He's got the little smiley. So you keep doing what you've been doing with him, just with the championship on his belt. And as long as he's working up still, as long as he's got people he's got to overcome, he's still fighting from underneath, he's still a baby face, he's still an underdog, you'll be able to have a good little run with that. Eventually the people will get sick of them, but if you're telling good stories, I think you'll get there, and one of those stories. AJ Styles isn't that story, and people have short attention spans. So they're going, do something fun now, Cody. I think him and Gunther will have an absolute banger of a story. And you know what I would do around Survivor Series, especially because, you do got to acknowledge that Cody is better at the chase and being an underdog. I grew up in the 90s where the Survivor Series always had that like shock title change, right? Like starting, I think, when Undertaker beat Hulk Hogan. And then you saw, Shawn Michaels, Diesel beat Diesel beat Bret Hart and ended Bret Hart's championship reign there. And then I think, wasn't it a year later? This is why I'm confused, that Bret Hart came back and beat Diesel's reign. And then Diesel, smashed up a bunch of shit and turned baby. I might be conflating, but you get the point. Survivor Series is that time of year where you can do those kind of shocking title changes that kind of build that mid-year intrigue. You want to see what's happening next going into the Royal Rumble season. Cody could lose the title to, say, a Gunther at Survivor Series, clean in the middle of the ring. Another good example of somebody that could do that at Survivor Series would be Brock Lesnar. I don't think he drops it to Randy. I think he overcomes a Randy. I think he overcomes a Logan. He overcomes AJ. He overcomes whoever the fuck else they want to throw at him, Seth. But he needs to hit that brick wall, or maybe around Survivor Series time against either a Gunther. If Brock is not going to come back, or not able to come back, or doesn't want to come back, or whatever, it's too hot. But I would say Brock would be that perfect guy, because Brock left after having that run with Cody and, left on good terms, put him over, held his arm up and that sort of thing. But why wouldn't he come back, attack Cody, shake his hand, pick him up, F5 him again, throw him into the stairs. Boom. Now you got Cody fighting from underneath. He's got this big obstacle he's got to overcome, and then Brock just fucking does an a la SummerSlam where he squashed John Cena, beats the fuck out of Cody, wins the title clean. And this is not to put over Brock. It could be done with Gunther too. It's not necessarily to let's give Brock another reign. It's just that creating that hurdle, that underdog story again, mid-season intrigue, right? So now Cody has to come back and maybe by the Royal Rumble, main event the Royal Rumble, Brock defends back against Cody. That's the big rematch, and Cody conquers Brock, sends him away. Maybe they have one last rematch heading into WrestleMania at Elimination Chamber. And then, boom, you're going into WrestleMania with Cody as champion versus The Rock. And whoever won the Rumble can challenge whoever the world champion is at that point instead. Cody can have his round 2, or he can have, his run-in with The Rock. That fated, they're on the course of destiny, whether Cody's champion or not. After that, now, that's when you can play around with Cody turning heel. Because he will have ran through most of the monster heels, most of the people that are going to have crowd. You can pin them up against like a LA Knight or whatever, but it's not going to have that underdog. It's going to put Cody, and that's why I think people aren't feeling AJ right now. It's not that they don't think it's going to be a banger of a match. It's that Cody isn't in the position right now where he's where people like him, chasing, an underdog, fighting from underneath. Put him in those positions against Gunther. Put him in that position against Brock. And I do think that magic will come from that. And you can get away with dropping the title at SummerSlam, putting it back on Cody at Rumble so that he heads into Mania as champion. And there's no need to continue to do 500-day championship reigns. It's not necessary. It's good to hold that credibility for the championship, but it's not like something they got to seek to do every time. Cody can have a half a year run and then drop it. But that's just my thoughts. I mean, this could go any which way, but Undertaker brought it up and it got kind of my creative juices flowing. And that mixed with, look, man, I'm seeing a lot of hate online. And I shouldn't say a lot because Cody's overall beloved still. But there's definitely a vocal contingency that's like, Cody's not really living up to the hype. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Peace, love, and pizza. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next. Oh, yeah. Thanks for checking out the video. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah. And you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh, yeah. Dig it.